Yes, it's true. That wasn't clickbait. I paid Myron Golden $110,000 to coach me. And in a world where there are online gurus who are selling high ticket coaching, was it worth it? I'm going to be breaking down some of the things and my experience being in Myron Golden's coaching program. I have with me art.mp4. Welcome to the department.
Let's go. Good to be back.
And you might be watching this because you actually found the podcast from last week's episode. Shout out to you. Welcome to the department. This podcast is really intended for you to grow in your business online, in-person business, build your personal brand, level up your content creation skills, all the things, sales, communication. And so I just want to say, I'm super glad you're here. And if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. But I'm excited to get into this. I'm going to talk about literally, there's going to be no filter on this conversation. And the reason why Art is here is because he's going to try and break it. Now, maybe should we, Simon Sinek says start with why. Should we start with why did I pay Myron Golden?
Yeah, why did you?
Thank you. Okay. It was fall of 2022, and I was going through a journey to really put together what my coaching program is today. And I found, like many other people, many people, I found Myron Golden on YouTube. I didn't realize at this point he kind of just was taking YouTube serious. And the cool thing about this season was you can actually binge Myron and actually catch up to his content. So this was early enough when he was taking YouTube serious. Shout out to him because he just surpassed 1 million subscribers, which is really cool. By the way, started taking YouTube serious at 60 years old, which just says a lot. Like if you're older in age, don't let your age be the reason why you disqualify yourself from showing up. I would argue you have an advantage to show up. Anyway, I found him in fall of 2022, and I was just drawn to him. I was captivated by his ability to connect kingdom principles to business and biblical principles to business. And even more than that, because as somebody who's been studying the Bible for the last, over 10 years, I just found it such a unique way because he was doing it in business. It wasn't a church, right? And that was big for me. And so that is how it kind of started. That's how I met Myron. And then I was just following him for some time. And then because, his YouTube channel was kind of like growing and people who were supposed to know about him kind of knew about him. And he actually threw his very first event in June of 2023. This was the Offer Mastery Live.
And this was a public event.
This was a public event. And at the time, I was going through a transition where I was really starting my own coaching and consulting company. And I don't really go to events like that. Like I've put on events, especially with Think Media, and I've spoken at events. And I just felt a draw. Yeah, I said, you know what? This guy, he seems like my guy. I don't know if you've maybe you feel that with certain people you follow online, but I was like, dude, Myron's he seems like my guy. I think I'm going to go. And I live in Las Vegas. So I bought a ticket, flew to Tampa. And I even, what's so funny is I'm backtracking kind of my thought process. I remember Amanda saying buy an expensive plane ticket, stay in a really nice hotel. Let this be a different experience than any other experience you went through, which was just so, I don't know, when I look back on it, I'm like, dang, it's the moment I started taking myself more serious is the moment everything started changing. So not to get into the weeds of it, but Myron presented his King Solomon at this event, which was incredible. That was an incredible event. There was a little over 600 people there. 95% of the people found him on YouTube. It was really cool. I don't even think he did any paid marketing to fill that room. And then he presents his offer, which is King Solomon Inner Circle offer, which is the more expensive offer. Here's what's funny about that. When he presented the offer, he was like, hey, if you make under this amount, this offer is for you. If you make over this amount, this offer is for you. And I believe that number was $220K, which I was making I was making just about a little over 220K with everything I was doing. It wasn't with one singular thing. So I kind of self-qualified myself for the more expensive offer.
Okay.
And by saying more expensive, I mean the more pricier, valuable offer, I guess you could say. I don't like using the word expensive because when
it's
I
just
look
the higher price offer.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what, dude, I'm for this offer, you know? So long story long, I took the offer. Now, the last job I worked, the last W-2 job I worked, I got paid $33,000 as a W-2 employee. So I'm like clearing like 28. Like to think to myself that, you know, I want to go through what went through my mind, and maybe you care, maybe you don't care, but what went through my mind when this happened. Number one, I asked my wife, I was like, babe, how can we do this? Because it's not that we didn't have the money to do it. And even though, like, you know, I'm just, like I said, no filter. I did the payment plan option. Keep your money. Like if somebody's going to teach you how to make money, you don't need to necessarily pay them all the money unless you want to and you don't want to think about it. But it's also like pay them and they're going to teach you how to make more money and then just pay off the program. So I just, you know, but I remember asking my wife, babe, how are we going to do this? And I realized that I asked her the right question.
Yeah.
When you start asking yourself, how can you do the thing? It'll unlock what I believe is one of the most powerful things, and that is your creativity. So shout out to my wife, Amanda, who was like, I don't know, we could do whatever you want. I mean, what, we could pay for it. Let's do the thing. We could take out an equity if you want out of the house. Like she was just so down. And I look back, like here I am 2 years later.
She's a real one.
She's a real one. Like, and I hope you married somebody that's supportive. Cause like a lot of the times, cause I'm not gonna even front, I sell high ticket coaching. That's what I do. And many times the person comes and says, let me talk to my wife about it. And I'm like, of course, talk to your wife about it. But I also hope that you, spouse, husband or wife, I hope that you've been consistent in your actions, that your spouse trusts you. The problem is when people say, hey, I want to go talk it over with my spouse. Are you talking it over with them because you don't know if they trust you with making decisions like this? As I look back, Amanda had my trust because I'm a man of my word. Because I'm not somebody who says I'm going to do one thing and then go do another, or say I'm going to do something and then I flake. Like that's not who I am. And if that's not who you are, then what you should be asking for is, how can we do this? Not, can I do this?
Bro, relax.
Sorry.
This isn't a marriage podcast.
I know. But it's part of it because it's
it's great though.
Because I think about how many spouses, because they have trust issues, keep them in the same cycle of sameness, not breaking through the barrier or the potential or possibility of what could be, simply because of the dynamic.
Right. And
anytime you're stepping into a new arena, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be scary. I don't even want to say it's fear. It's not fear more than it is resistance. When we step into the unknown, which I didn't know, like my thing is like, I didn't even know what I was actually getting. I just knew Myron was the person. Now I think there's something to say about that.
You didn't know what you were getting, but why were you so bought in?
Number one, because his YouTube presence, and not just his YouTube presence, but him on YouTube and me consuming him for hours, it already pre-sold me.
Sure.
I told myself before I even went to this event, I said, hey, whatever the offer is. And what's funny is in the moment, I didn't feel, I was like, I don't know if this is for me. And I asked a friend who was actually, one of Myron's students at the time, Neo Davis. And I said, bro, Neo, I don't know if I'm supposed to do this or not. And you know, he was like, he looked me in the eye. He's like, you don't need to do this. You're literally the GOAT. He was like, Myron knows you. Myron knew me before I knew him. But he said, the only reason why you need to do this is to break something off of you because you don't take yourself serious. This is why every time I have a conversation with you about charging, you get uncomfortable. So he's like, you have to invest in yourself before you ask money from other people.
Right.
And I think that's a constant, perpetual pursuit is if you are somebody who is adding value to people's life, you better be investing in yourself. Like, how dare you call yourself a coach, a consultant, and you yourself aren't coach or consulted? Like, talk about a phony. Like, that's literally a phony. So really, like Neo just saying that, I'm like, dude, if I'm the best at what I do, I'm gonna act like I'm the best at what I do.
Which you believe that you were.
And I believed I was.
And
honestly.
there's a lot of people out there who believe they are.
Correct.
And maybe are.
Yeah. And I think most people are. Most people are really good at what they do.
Yeah.
And so I was in a season as an entrepreneur where I was looking for the person. Now, to bring clarity, this video is entitled, I paid Myron $110,000. It's because I did 2 years in a row of his $55,000 offer, just to bring clarity. But I really decided with Myron because I was looking for a person. And I just want to affirm this. If you are any, let me say this the right way. If you are on a journey that you believe is God ordained, meaning God is leading you down a path of your future, of abundance, of more, of entrepreneur, like whatever that is, if you feel like you're going down a journey that is not necessarily led by you, but is led by a bigger voice, and I would say maybe it's the voice of God, it's the Holy Spirit, whatever, yourself, your inner voice, I don't know how you roll. But if that's the case, I'm here to tell you that God will always put a person or people in the way to help you get there. Like, you will not get to where you're supposed to be. You will not make the impact you're called to make by overlooking the people God's put in place. Now, I genuinely believe like Myron was my guy. And I was honestly, I was like, I don't want to say names, but there were like 3 or 4 other people I was considering to invest in. Might I say, I've never bought a course before this. Like literally, I never bought a course. So this is like the first time I was investing in myself, which is crazy, a $55,000 investment. But you know what I looked at when I looked at all 4 people and then Myron? I said, no one's life outside of business resembles the life I intend to create other than Myron.
It's good.
His kids love him. His team loves him. He's a man of character. He's a man of God, like loves the word. Like, this guy's not going to gyp me, you know? So these are all the thoughts that are going through my mind. And what's funny is something that Myron brought clear to me when I told him, and I don't mind being coached, by the way. I mean, I think if you guys watched the last episode, you guys are like, man, you guys are a really cool dynamic. He's still my coach. He is not my bro. And like, he is my bro, but he's my coach, and then he's my bro.
You say that in like a humble, honoring way.
I do.
Yeah.
But I don't, if I'm paying you to coach me, you are my coach. And I'm your student. And I'm gonna be the best student that I can be. So I'm gonna zip my lips. Mm-hmm. I'm not, like, unless you ask me to do something. Now, when I said Myron, like, yeah, I said it on one of the calls. I was like, yo, I invested in you. I invested in with you or with this program. And he's like, Omar, you did not invest in me. By the way, he's like, I don't need anybody's money. You invested in yourself. Like, and that's what you're doing when you invest through other people. You're investing in yourself through a person. But I just love, I said, if my life looks like that at 60, I've made it. I've won. So that's really the biggest reason why. Myron was just the guy that I feel like was put in front of me. And any questions? I want you to break whatever.
Yeah, I would say you invested in yourself through him, but maybe someone is asking like, okay, sure, I can understand the idea of investing in myself, but what did you buy? Because you still, at the end of the day, not paid $55,000 up front, but like that was the total cost of what it is that you bought. Yep. So like, what is it? So
what did I get?
Yeah.
And I want to clarify, people who ask me that question, and I'm not saying you're this person.
Yeah.
People who ask me that question, I know what they're asking me.
What is it?
What did you get that was worth $55,000?
Yes.
Because most people who don't understand investing in themselves, will always, and this is something that broke off of me. I used to think that value was connected to amount, like amount of stuff. Like if it's a lot of money, you must get a lot of stuff. And that's actually something, I mean, we can probably get, because I wrote down like the things I got from Myron, but like got as in like more than just the thing at face value. But like, what did I get? I'll tell you what I got. I got 2 calls a month on Zoom with Myron.
One-on-one calls.
Not one-on-one, group calls.
Oh, snap.
So this is the group of people that paid $55,000. Now, those conversations in many cases, it's a different conversation because the room is filtered by $55,000. So like, there's no one's wasting nobody's time. Sure. It's like a different dynamic.
Did you know that before you bought, or was it after?
It wasn't the thing that was on my mind.
Okay.
Right now, and then you realize that sometimes the number is simply a filter to create a room that's dynamic. And if you understand the power of environments, the principle of, I'm literally looking at this fake plant behind you, like it's fake plant, but if it was a real plant, if it was in the wrong environment, it will die. You put it in the right environment and it'll thrive.
Good. So
a lot of times when you join like a mastermind or a program or anything that's going to make you better, buy a course, it doesn't matter. What you're doing is you're finding yourself, or you're trying to put yourself in the right environment. This is why I'm a fan of live events. I'm a fan of workshops. I'm a fan of Zoom calls, because it's an environment that can create in you an ability to grow. So this came with 2 calls a month for this group. You also got calls, an additional call a week with like somebody else on his team. I think it was like his brother. I've never been on the other call, which is the worst, like almost 2 years. Because when you buy in the King Solomon Inner Circle, you also get access to his Offer Mastery boot camp, which is a course pretty much. It's kind of, it's a program because there's literally a call every week. Oh, so okay. Like technically you're getting 6 calls a month.
Okay.
So that's what I got. 6 calls a month. You're getting access to his portal. And like when you log in, I mean, the thing is, I will say Myron doesn't hold back on his YouTube videos. He just understands the context where it makes the most sense to share information. Sometimes it doesn't make sense to share information in a certain way because people aren't bought in. So like he has to be really good on YouTube and communicate in a way that makes sense for the platform. Inside the curriculum or inside the portal, man, he's got some things where he's like doing a live commentary on him pitching. Look, notice what I did there. Look what I did. See, this is what's called pre-framing. Notice how I changed my inflection. Notice how I made money. I lowered down the value of money. Because anytime money is just a tool, people are more willing to buy. So he's like, there is so much sales and persuasion and program creation, like almost like everything you need to be successful. And then I think one of the most valuable things you also get with him is you get access to 4 events a year. So about once a quarter, he throws on these events. It's literally, there's one happening right now in Tampa. But because at the time we're doing a challenge, so I wasn't able to go. And so, yeah, like there's more stuff you get. Like, I mean, you know, he gives us the opportunity to write a book together that he already wrote, which sounds really cool. That's kind of like what got me like pretty excited. Like, dude, we can write a book together. And there's so much more. I'm probably the worst because like I'm too busy doing the work.
And then you didn't like want to milk everything that you got
and
from it.
And if you want to be that type of person, be that type of person. But like,
yeah,
do the work. Like, so I'm so busy doing the work. I only hop on the call when I literally hit a wall. When I hit something, but I'm doing what he's prescribed. And really, what like a big thing that Myron prescribes is just being able to charge more for your services, and then knowing that like you're doing value-based charging, not time-based charging, which a lot of times that's literally, I'll just say probably the biggest unlock I got from Myron Golden is being able to charge more and deliver less. Now, that sounds kind of scammy, but this is I'm going to literally reenact something with you.
Okay.
Okay. So you're Omar, I'm Myron.
Okay.
So ask me the question, hey, Myron, why do I have a hard time every time I think about raising my price, I have to include more?
Myron, why every time I want to raise my price, I feel like I need to deliver more?
Okay. Because you have a value discrepancy. You don't understand value. So I'm going to present to you an offer, Art.
Okay.
This offer is going to help you make $10 million. How good does that sound?
Sounds good.
Is this something you're interested in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. The cost for this offer is $15,000. It comes with 100 videos, 100 audio files, and a 100-page download PDF. If you go through all three of these things, it will show you exactly how you can make $10 million. Would you like this deal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have another one. Do you want to hear about it?
Sure.
Okay. It's another program, but it's the same outcome. It'll teach you how to make $10 million in 1 year. It comes with one video, one audio file, and one downloadable PDF. This one is $30,000. Which one would you like?
I'll take that one.
Why?
Because it takes up less of my time.
Okay. So by me giving you less, there is actually, it makes it more valuable.
Yes.
So this is a limiting belief that literally was crushed under Myron's watch. And it helped me see value. That's part of like one of your, like, if we're talking about like breaking through in business, a lot of the times the ceiling is just what you believe about the value. So if you can charge more money, deliver it quicker to get a faster result, like, it's more valuable. But this takes you have to take the responsibility and the ownership to really be on a constant pursuit to condense the information. Like literally in our portal, I have a coaching program, an Inner Circle, and I want to take stuff out.
Yeah.
Because I'm realizing like the more information actually overwhelms people. And
the more paralysis it brings.
And more paralysis, then people have too much decisions to make. And here's what's crazy. My observation is if you're somebody who always wants to over deliver, there's chances are is that you might be insecure. It's an insecurity to want to feel like you're validating somebody's purchase by like, let's do 20 calls, let's give them 100 videos. That's actually insecurity in you to try and get validation for the value. When I would argue, you probably are gonna overwhelm the person that you're trying to help.
Yeah. Okay, but what would you say to the people? Because you're saying that from a perspective of the person selling that item or that program or that course is like, oh, I put 100 videos in here for you. It's worth 5,000 now. But what would you say to the person that is buying that course that is like, you only put one video in this course and it's this much? How is that worth the price?
Yeah, a skeptic.
Yes.
Okay, how do you say somebody who's skeptical? If someone is skeptical about an offer, chances are is they didn't get enough education. Chances are is they might not be the right person. And the offer might not be for you. That's why I have the 15 one. If you want the 300 unit thing, right, that one's for you too.
Sure.
So, and this is something I got from Myron, is learning, if you want to be a better salesperson, you better become a better buyer. Just become better at buying. Don't be a skeptic.
What does that mean?
That means when an opportunity or an offer is presented to you and it's the right offer, stop going back and forth. Like we are all experiencing the life experience you are currently experiencing is the one you're intended to experience. Now, people genuinely get stuck. They genuinely get stuck in a cycle of life. It's the same old, same old. you just keep doing the same thing. You keep listening to the same people, and like nothing changes. Your money doesn't change, your mindset doesn't change, your skill sets don't change. Nothing changes because you didn't see more in you. And so this is just something I've learned. Like, and I have friends and family that literally are terrible buyers.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say terrible buyers, I mean they don't buy with value in mind. They buy with price in mind.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between the gym that Amanda attends for, honestly, it's like $400 a month, and $10 a month EOS Fitness, Lifetime Fitness, EOS Fitness? Why do they even exist? Well, the difference is in the value. What's the value? Number one, the value is in the people. If you're somebody who values your fitness at the level of $400 a month, you're a type of individual. And now Amanda's rubbing shoulders with people who just value health and fitness a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Am I saying people at EOS don't value their fitness? I'm not saying that. I'm saying that they're probably just people that are there, just work out and get out. Like, but that's why EOS, your experience is compromised many times because it's so packed.
Yes.
And it's like, it's not a good experience. You can guarantee good experience at Lifetime. And if you have a bad experience, they want to know about it. There's just more care. That's why charging more a lot of times just allows you to care more. And when you care more, you can create a better experience. When you create a better experience, people are more likely to be satisfied. It's like, it's a funny loop, right? And so there are times like, and everyone's on this journey. I mean, you might be on this journey. If you're on a journey of becoming a better buyer, just start looking things at the value of what it is. Like, this is why there are certain things that in my mind don't matter how much they cost. And I'm not saying that because I'm better than everybody else, but like, here's a good example. Amanda went to Home Goods. She loves Home Goods.
Okay.
I want Amanda to be a better buyer. No, Amanda went to Home Goods because we needed nightstand lights.
Bro, she's a better buyer through you.
What does that mean?
She let you buy Myron's program.
Yeah, that's facts. No, we were looking at a nightstand table or a nightstand light, like a lamp, table lamp.
Yes.
Like, for me, if it's the right one, it doesn't matter the price. It's going to live on our thing forever. So like, we already bought the wrong one, returned it. She FaceTimed me while she was at Home Goods, and she was like, here, they have this one. And I was like, I think that's the one. It has great texture. It's the right color. Mm-hmm. It was like pretty like heavy. Like, it was nice. It was $80. And she was like, dang it, it's $80. I was like, babe, buy the lamps. Like, I don't care if it was $600 because it solved the problem. Like, I found that like when you're trying to solve a problem with your money, and you don't buy with value in mind, you buy with cost in mind, you'll spend more time dwelling. It might break. It'll break sooner, and then you're gonna have to buy it again. So like, you're actually losing more money being cheap.
Right.
And I know, like, and I'm talking about things that Myron's taught me, right? The reason why most people think this way is because people buy things with their time. Because that's how people think. They think time equals money. And I know I'm repetitive, like, because Myron teaches this stuff, but time does not equal money. Time is way more valuable than money.
Yes.
Infinitely. He says, time is infinitely more valuable than money. How can you say that? If I gave you $1 million today, would you take it, Art?
Yes.
If I gave you $1 million today, but you had to die tomorrow, would you take it?
No. Why? Because I don't want to die tomorrow.
So tomorrow is more valuable than $1 million.
100.
Okay. Time is more valuable than money.
Sure.
Okay. So if that is the truth, then we should buy differently. And this is just something I learned from Myron.
Yeah.
Watch your life change when you become a better buyer. When you're somebody who could spot value, like real true value in whatever it is that you're looking to buy, like, just buy differently. Hey, department fam, wanted to take a brief break from this conversation. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. And the first thing I wanted to talk about is that, did you know that 75% of the people that watch this podcast on YouTube actually aren't subscribed, which is a high chance that you're not subscribed. So number one, I want to say thank you for listening or watching the podcast. And number two, if you can hit that subscribe button, that would be amazing. The second thing is, if you are an entrepreneur, content creator, or somebody looking to make money online, I want to encourage you to come to this online event called the Content to Cash Challenge. This is a special 5-day event that's going to give you access to the system I use in my business to make multiple 6 figures with my content. If you've been desiring to either get your business and brand more exposure, grow a YouTube channel, whatever it is when it comes to video, I would encourage you to jump into the Content to Cash Challenge. We'll be sure to post the link to the challenge down in the show notes or the description. And I want to encourage you to jump into the VIP experience. This will give you access to a 1-hour Q&A call every day of the challenge. This will guarantee myself to answer a personalized question you may have. So I'll see you on the Content to Cash Challenge. Now let's jump back into the conversation. And it goes in any sector, like clothing. You buy crap clothing, it changes when you wash it. You buy quality clothes.
Resulting in like you have to just buy more.
You just have to buy more, which is more trips and more logins.
And typically people buy more of the same crap. So they end up, it's just a vicious cycle.
And this is and that's why I like the principle of quality. You think about it with food. You buy crap food, makes you feel crappy. Feel crappy.
You want to indulge.
Yeah.
And
then you just go down a path because you were cheap.
Yeah.
Myrons,
because even for me, when like you introduced me to Myron and like you introduced me into this entire world, at first Myron's VIP day didn't make sense to me just because it was $350,000.
It's now $375, but go
$375 for a day with him, which would be 8 hours is what he would say. And I'm like, dude, I don't know. $375K for a day with him. Like, are they really getting, the value for that price?
Yeah.
And then Myron just breaks it down. He's like, dude, who's getting the short end of the stick if I help this person 5x, 10x that cost? And then it's like, oh, okay. Then yeah, Myron's getting the short end of the stick.
Yeah, and I love that you brought that up because that's an extreme example of what took place in me.
Yeah.
Right. And I know, I know the people that invested $1 million with him for a year. But let's just take the VIP day offer. Myron, why can't you just tell me what to do? I can just tell you what to do, but you won't do it.
Right.
Why won't I do it? Because
there's no skin in the game.
There's no skin in the game.
Yeah.
So part of paying a lot of money to invest in yourself is to get yourself to pay attention to the information. Like, you know how many times I offer game? You see me offer game all the time to my friends. Oh my
goodness. The amount of free game you give the people
I'll like leave a FaceTime call. I'll be like, if they implement that, they can make $1 million.
Yes. And it never happens.
Why? Because they didn't pay for the information.
Yes.
It didn't cost them anything.
And it makes sense with Myron. Like, to have a day, $375K is a pretty big fire under your butt to like do the work.
Yeah. And you're like, I got to make this. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
As soon as I was like, okay, I was looking for the ways to make the ROI back.
And what's cool is you made it back in 2 weeks?
Like the next month, I doubled the investment with one play Myron gave me.
Yep.
And then everything was gravy after that. But there was still more development that I had to go through. But I want to bring up that whole aspect. Like, Myron actually asked me to speak in front of this group of $375,000 VIP people, and then also the 3 people who paid $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
He had me teach like YouTube and content in front. He's like, I just like the way you teach it, Omar. It was actually really cool. Like even in the first year, he had me even do a few calls, which is really cool. Like, and I know some masterminds actually do that, where like you teach something. But I say all that to say, was I saying anything different to this group than what I would say to any other event, any other web class, this podcast? Like,
oh, dude, 100.
No.
Yes. You taught like a Harvard level class.
No,
I'm just kidding.
Literally. Like,
no, yeah.
I was just like, all right, guys, YouTube.
Yeah.
Your title should read like an article headline. Go get your titles from Google.
Their minds were blown in that room.
And the reason is because the information is more valuable to them because they paid.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to point that there's a principle. Sometimes the cost isn't about what you can get. It's about getting you to pay attention.
Mhm.
Like that's a big majority of the cost. Because you can get everything you need to know on YouTube. But why are you still in the same place that you're at? Because it's not costing you anything. So we're just listening to all these gurus online. You're listening to podcasts like The Department. You're listening to Alex Ramosi. You're listening to Myron Golden, and you're still in the same place. You gotta. If you plan on doing anything significant in business and you don't think you have to invest in yourself, good luck. There's a cost to business. And in many cases, it's the cost of hiring people. In many cases, it's the cost of hiring third-party agencies to help you do things. There's a cost to, like, there is a cost of business. And I found this as a CEO or, you know, the owner of my business, I found that it is actually my greatest responsibility to become better. Why? As the business owner, as the CEO, you are your own ceiling to your own business or organization.
Mm.
So if you stop getting better, your business stops growing.
That's really good.
Period. And so I know that was literally like an intro, but we might not double the time because I wrote down like some of the things, like genuinely what I got, lessons.
Yeah.
I think it's just a list, and I'll go through it. So when people ask, what'd you get for $55,000? What'd you get for $110,000? I didn't get information. Well, I guess you could say I did. I got information. But the reason why I paid Myron is I paid him for impartation. I believe that you can catch things on a person, and it is an actual spiritual experience. That if somebody has a gift on their life, you could pull on that gift. Where do you get this from? I think about the Bible, the scripture where it says, receive a prophet as a prophet, and then you receive a prophet's reward. So you get the reward for the gift on that person's life. You get that gift too when you receive them as who they are. This is why I say Myron's Coach Myron. Like, he's not Bro Myron. Because as long as he's Coach Myron, I can get his reward.
Yeah, the anointing drips down.
Yeah, I mean, great. Good job, dude. Bible scholar. No, that's true though.
Yeah.
It flows.
Yes.
And when I say I wanted impartation, Myron's ability to captivate a room or speak to a camera or just be on a podcast and make people literally make their brains go upside down and say, what? Wait, what? Like that's something I wanted. Like I wanted the ability to create those same effects. I wanted to learn how he can get people to get up and like take an offer and say yes. Like there are these things that he taught me, like here. And by the way, I just want to list out, here are the things that I feel like I got from being under his coaching for almost 2 years. I got to learn persuasion and sales at the highest level. Like what's cool about investing in myself through Myron is just how long he's been in business and how many times he's failed. Like part of why you want to invest in mentorship is simply because they've already failed for you.
They've been there and done that.
More than twice.
Yeah.
Like he became a millionaire, lost it all, and he became a millionaire again.
Is it 30 years plus in business or no?
Yeah, he's been like 34 years in business. Which is like that's what you're tapping into. So when you ask like, what do you get for $55,000? What do you get for $110,000? You get his life experience in business.
Yeah.
What do you get when you pay Omar to join his program? You get his life experience in video. I've been doing video for 18 years.
Yeah. Talk about getting your time back. So like so he has all of that information, but what you're paying for is not only your time back. You don't have to spend 30 years doing it. You get consolidation. So he knows what information you need, not like just here's all of it. Here's all this information.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, the like he talks about it a lot, but like who you're becoming is the most important thing. So like the wrong person with the right information will produce the wrong outcome.
Mm.
The right person with the right information will produce the right outcome. AKA B do have. The right person, B, produce do and then outcome have, right? Like, so I'm just being Myron Jr. repeating himself. But man, like I didn't know sales. I thought I did until I met Myron Golden. And like, honestly, the understanding human nature and speaking to the subconscious is game. It's changed the game. Now, what's really cool is the sooner you invest in yourself, the sooner you get to experience the results of your investment. So I am blessed to experience. I've literally, the next thing I wrote down was the business model. I've implemented Myron Golden's business model in my business. And it's made my second year in business, just my second year with the video department, a 7-figure business. And I'm only 33. Like, it's game over, bro. Like, game, set, match, bro. I'm glad at 31, I saw the value.
Yeah.
I mean, and I didn't know, I mean, all I knew was like, there's more to it, but there is a direct correlation from the investment I made in myself to the outcome I'm experiencing now.
Something that's also interesting about Myron is the like sales piece that you love in a world where like all of the sales gurus online are so abrasive and it feels very like obnoxious, you know, sometimes like their tactics.
Sure.
It's like Myron will be selling you and you don't even know it.
Right.
And it's not even like happening in your eyes.
Yeah.
But like to be able to learn that style of sales, I feel like was probably the best move you could have ever made.
Oh yeah. Like, it's just like when you become a sales ninja, it's selling without selling.
Yeah.
Like, I'm telling, like, this podcast, by me telling you that I invest in myself at this level, I'm literally selling you on my credibility. So like, even in this podcast had a sales tactic to it, right? Yeah. So like, I wrote that down. Investing in Myron has given me credibility as a coach. It's just credit. And dude, I'm literally just doing what he does. Did you see it like on our podcast last week? He was like, oh yeah, I got a new mentor. He's a billionaire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm like, literally what it made me feel like, man, I want a billionaire mentor. Like it made him like, he just sunned me. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened.
Bro, what he was trying to get you to do was take his $1 million offer.
I know, low key. No, but that's part of why, I think one of the greatest skills you can learn in business is sales and persuasion, and tasteful sales and persuasion, right?
I thought it was sales and convincing.
No. Oh yeah. Let's talk about, that's something he taught me was there's a difference between persuasion and convincing. Mm-hmm. And they're actually polar opposites. Convincing is forcing you to buy something that benefits me.
Yeah.
Persuasion is helping you get out of your own way to take action or buy something or invest in something that is both going to help you and me. It's best for both parties.
Dude, being aware, like, I mean, when you explained that to me for the first time, I was like, what the heck? Like, I have never in my life thought about it that way.
Yeah.
Or found out that it is that way. So I think you even like operating with that mindset of like, I'm persuading people because I'm selling them something that is going to help them.
Yep.
It also added like a level of conviction to you.
For sure.
Cause you don't feel like you have to convince people to take my offer or to take this or take that.
I'm literally like, you guys, like, I don't even need to do this.
Yeah.
I don't need this. Right. But I want to. And if you're down, if we vibe, let's go. It honestly, it's the same as church. Like, a preacher's job isn't to convince somebody to take action. Because then you force them into works-based faith, which is like, that's not the goal. we, as preachers and teachers, our job is to persuade people, get them out of their own way to literally receive. It's the same. It's like literally the same concept.
Okay. So what would you say are like the practical differences between convincing and persuading?
I mean, I picture it as a scenario.
Okay.
Okay. So like if I'm a car salesman
Uh-huh.
and you come to the lot, it's like, hey, Art, I don't even know your name, but hey, my name is Omar. What's your name? Art. Art.mp4.
Art.mp4.
And what brings you in today?
Just looking for a car.
Are you looking for a car, or do you have a family, or are you looking for a coupe, like sedan? Like what
Looking for a family car.
A family car. Dude, that's sick. Are you somebody who would drive a van?
Sure, why not?
No way. Yeah, because we just got these fresh Kia Carnivals. They literally look like SUVs, but they're vans.
Oh, dang.
Let's check it out.
Okay, let's go.
I mean, like captain seats, bro. It has everything you need. The kids can talk to you, and then it projects while you drive.
Mhm.
So like you don't have to yell to the back.
Oh, dude, my wife's gonna love that.
That's so crazy. Yeah. Okay. It's a $30,000 car. Is this something you feel prepared to buy, or you want to talk through it?
We can probably just talk through it a little bit more.
Yeah, let's talk through it. Like, so what would prevent you from actually taking action and buying this car?
I think it's just a little out of our price range.
Okay. What if I can get the price to a place where it is in your range?
I would be open to purchasing.
Like a monthly payment.
Yeah.
But this car is the car for you guys.
100.
Sweet. So let's work together and make that work. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay, cool. That's persuasion.
Okay.
I would listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
I could have made a judgment call on you and said, hey bro, what brings you in? Obviously you're here just browsing for a car. Bro, check out this Tesla Model S. Dude, I don't know if I like electric. No, but legit, this is the car. And and then I force a product on you that isn't even right.
Right.
But you did it because I honestly emotionally,
it's like a pressure, like you just put a pressure on.
And this is what you call high pressure sales.
Mm.
And then they make you feel guilty for saying no.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
It's that's the difference between persuading and convincing.
Money.
That's it. Like
cool.
And that's why I love the sales girls have a book that's called Persuade for Good. Because the reality is like people do it for bad.
Yeah. For the wrong reason.
And bad is for greed. Another thing I learned from Myron is just communication. He breaks down his formula for how he teaches every time he teaches. He breaks down, and what's cool about these events, which I've gone to, they're called like Mouth to Millions and Stage Selling Secrets. What's cool about these events is he'll tell you what he's doing and then why he's doing something. Like, which you don't realize what he's doing when he's doing it because he's so masterful. He's hit a place of mastery. So just communication is, when I think about the two skills that everyone should invest in, it's communication and sales. And they kind of go hand in hand, I guess you could say. Like those two skills it'll change your financial future. And yeah, I already talked about, it gave me the permission to charge more. If you want to charge more for your products or services, but you get nervous when you say the price, you either don't see the value in it, you don't have enough proof to even sell it for that price, or you haven't even bet on yourself at that level and you're asking people to bet on themselves at that level.
With you.
Yeah. Phony. So I will say it this way. I paid Myron $110,000 and it changed everything in my life. And something I learned is when I become better, Omar the human being, everything around me gets better. So I got better because of Myron Golden's coaching from a friend standpoint, from a husband and father standpoint, from a pastor and leader standpoint, to an entrepreneur. And like, did the ROI take place? Of course. So much. Like, I don't believe I would have hit $1 million if I didn't pay Myron $110,000. I don't believe, like, I believe I needed him to get me to this place. Now I'm I'll probably hit a new ceiling. I'll realize that maybe this year, maybe we do the same or we do close to, who knows? But I have, my eyes are like, okay, what am I going to do to invest in myself? You know what I did as a result of joining Myron's program?
What?
I started this podcast.
Very true.
Like, this podcast would not exist if it wasn't for Myron coaching me.
Yeah.
Now, Myron thought that I owned Think Media, and I didn't. I had no, I didn't own, I want to say no, I didn't own my digital presence on YouTube. Think Media did. Now, I own my digital presence on YouTube. And I would argue the content that I've been able to produce with this podcast has created a perception and perspective of who I really am, because it's long form. And I'm not showing up like, here are 3 tips to grow your YouTube channel. Like, no, it's like I'm just in a conversational manner, delivering game. Hey, question for you. Are you somebody who is looking to start creating content, or maybe you currently create content, but all the gear and the tech just overwhelms you? If so, I wanted to let you know about our sponsor for this podcast, Ulanzi. Whether you're creating content with your smartphone, a camera, or just trying to take your Zoom calls to the next level, Ulanzi has everything you need to make your setup look and sound professional. I've been using their gear myself, and honestly, it's been a complete game changer for my content. You can check them out at ulanzi.com/Omar, and we've got some amazing picks for you. And also, if you look at the description below, we have a special promo code that will give you 12% off your entire order. Big thanks to Ulanzi for sponsoring this episode and helping us create.
A small detail to note, by the way, about the podcast is, yeah, you started the pod because of Myron's coaching, but in the first year of the podcast, it also made the money back of the price of admission for his program.
Oh my goodness. On YouTube?
Yes.
No, like on Google.
Yeah, Google.
Google paid me back for joining Myron's program.
Literally.
That's a great way to put it. There's so many ways. Like, this is why I don't want you to always think you have to get your money's back.
Mm-hmm.
Because if that's what you're focused on, what's going to happen is you're going to get your money back, and then you're going to quit, or you're going to get complacent. And so make it about becoming. Like, really make it about
because what would you say to people that would maybe say you are a unicorn? Like, Omar, you were still Omar before you bought Myron's thing. You had an online presence. You're just Omar. Like, can this really happen for me? Like, a nobody that doesn't have a presence.
I wish I started with that, because I got 2 phone calls in 1 week from 2 people that want to join Myron's program that know me.
Uh-huh.
And both of them had that hedge. Yeah, but like, how much did Myron really help you?
Right.
It's like, no, he didn't like call me and tell me whatever. You know, like, I pulled it out of him, and that was my responsibility too.
In what way?
On the calls, really asking him, like, don't be ashamed to ask the question and have him process. Don't be ashamed to ask. His sister, by the way, Dee, she's brilliant, you know, and like,
his daughter, you mean?
Yeah, his daughter. I said sister.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, his daughter Dee, she's the CEO of his coaching company, and like, she's brilliant, and even getting to ask her questions, you know. But this is why it's like everyone's on there. I would imagine you should think of yourself as a unicorn.
Mm.
Everyone should think of themselves as there's only one of me.
Sure.
And so if what you see, if maybe the question, and I always want to get deep when somebody asks me a question, like most questions like that.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying, Omar, how much work did you do before you met Myron on yourself? Well, are you willing to put in the 12 years of helping build other people's stuff in my 20s? Like, I guess we could say, yeah, for a decade, I was working on myself, helping other people build their organizations or their companies.
Right.
So Omar, what, like, did Myron really, like, yeah, he really helped me. But I also was the person, and I was also open to becoming more. You become more, it allows you to do more. And when you do more, you just tend to have more.
Sure.
So I hope that this podcast wasn't like a sales pitch for Myron's coaching. It was a sales pitch for my coaching. I'm just kidding. I hope this, number one, it was like for me to document this, because I think it's very important that Omar at this point in his life has his thoughts about this put somewhere, because I mean, one day I'll join a $250,000 program.
Yeah, I was going to ask you maybe two questions now that I think about it. But can you process with me, because you said you did Myron's thing for 2 years. It's like 2 years now. So what made you join? Because we know why you joined the first time, but what made you re-up or like re-enroll into the second year?
Yeah.
Which was the same price.
Sure. And it was the same program. Like, I mean, it was, like, I already knew what I was getting.
Nothing was different.
Nothing was different. I wasn't in an event. All that stuff. I think the two reasons, and I consulted a few people on this, including you, should I do a second year? I don't think anybody else came up on my radar that made sense.
Okay.
I also still feel like there was still so much to do. Like, accomplish, but probably the best insight I got from a friend was like, the first year you join for, it's like a fire hose. It's like you're just getting hit with like a fire hose. That's like one reason to like join a program, is just like soak it all in and then do the work. But the second year is a mixture of being selective at the information you're trying to grab, because now you have so much data from the first year.
Right.
But then also it's your opportunity to actually be the best student. Like, if you want to get your mentor's attention, be the best student in the classroom.
Why would someone want to get their mentor's attention and be the best student?
Because if there's a room of people and in that room, you're at the creme de la creme,
there's more opportunity.
There's more opportunity.
Yeah.
So like, somebody hit me up and was like, yo, Omar, I'm taking Myron's challenge. And he just brought you up. He just said how, like, where you were. He's like, it was really cool. And how much you've made. Like Myron is talking about me in front of his people. Mm-hmm. How valuable is that?
Right.
So that's one reason. It's like when your mentor or a guru per se, like, they know you.
And they speak highly of you.
And they speak highly of you because you're killing it.
Yeah.
The other is relationship. So I believe, like, you join the program or a program, you get the information, you implement the information quickly, but then as you stay in, you become like a friend. And I'm just saying, I think I'm Myron's favorite golf buddy. Like, he hits me up, like, literally, I have a text message from him because I'm supposed to be in Tampa right now. He said, hey bro, was your flight canceled? We have a tea time Wednesday. I was like, shoot, I'm so sorry, I can't make it. And then he just sent me a bunch of emojis, like, you bum kind of emoji. But I actually we enjoy our time now. And it's not even like, and I think I'm not thirsty, I don't pick his brain when we're golfing.
Yeah.
But our relationship as I guess you could say friends has grown. And
yeah, you would say you've maybe grown in favor.
I guess that's one way to put it.
Because I mean, also he's done 4 podcasts with you by now too.
Right.
So
I mean, I guess that's another ROI is like, he'll do a podcast with you if you're a student. Yeah. And you have something, like, you have a podcast that you post consistently on and stuff. Mm-hmm. Our first conversation we did together, it has over 200,000 views. Our second one has 200,000 views. And then this one just passed 200,000. It's crazy. So, yeah, it invaluable. Like,
Right.
you clicked on this video or podcast and you were like, is this guy a scam artist? Like, Myron Golden isn't a scam artist. He's one of the greatest human beings that I've gotten to know. I've met a lot of people being in ministry, and I'm grateful for who he is and what he does for people, really changing the way we think about things, giving the skill set the person needs to be successful, and then also giving the tools. He says mindset, skill set, and tool set. Those are the all of that wrapped with a bow in his program.
I should have brought this up maybe towards the beginning, but you said you were drawn to him, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess, like, how would somebody know that it's their time to, like, invest in themselves or to jump into having a coach?
Mm-hmm.
Because we had someone on a call recently be like, I've just done a lot of learning, and I just, I'm feeling like it's a time to just stop learning and start doing.
That's great.
And yeah.
Number one, I'm a fan of just picking one voice in this. Like, don't join a million programs and then this person's saying I need to post 10 times a day. You're saying I only need to post once a week. Like, what do I do? It's like, pick one person to listen to. If you want to listen to that person, don't listen to me. But when do you know it's the right time to invest in yourself? I believe it's always the right time to invest in yourself in some capacity. Now there's just types of investing in yourself, but I think you should you should seek it at the moment of the thought. Like, if you think to yourself, it's time to level up. At that thought, you better start looking for the person. And sometimes it's a book. Sometimes it's genuinely a book. Like, the goal is that you're always trying to get better. Like, dude, honestly, like, I'm investing in your development to pay the agency that we pay to train you on what they do.
Right.
Straight up, bro, you can learn everything, leave, and go do something. And sucks, but you could do that and you'd be more valuable. The hope is that, like, by you getting better, you would be able to lock in and, let's build something great. When I think about the person that asked that question, I feel like she either is being misled with the wrong information.
Okay.
Because if you bought something from somebody, and you are doing the work intentionally that they are prescribing you to do, and it's not doing what it's intended to do, then maybe they prescribed you the wrong thing. Like, I can't speak for everybody, but the key is if you have the thought, like, I'm ready for the level up. There's a cost to that level up, and you should pay that cost, whether with your time, whether, with your attention, or pay it literally with your money. And even if you don't have the money, if a person is going to show you how to make more money, you don't need the money. Like, you don't need the money to
buy the thing.
Right. Like, my friend David was like, did you have the money to buy the house that you bought? I said, no. But what did you believe about the house that made you buy it, even though you didn't have the money? I was like, that it would appreciate in value. So you're betting on the fact that it's going to make you money, but you don't have the money right now. Right. Okay. We do the same thing with cars. I think we should start approaching our life and our skill sets in the same way. If you don't have the money, but this is going to appreciate in value or make you more valuable or allow you to make more money, you don't need the money to jump in. I would even say, like, I used to be against financing, but it's like, finance it, do the work, and then pay that sucker off.
Yeah. You used to be against financing in what way?
financing for for coaching programs. Like if you don't have the money, like use a finance company to finance it. We do this with college. You're literally getting student loans from the bank to learn information that isn't even going to guarantee you a result worthwhile.
Yeah.
And
which
a lot
most
of
the time is dated information.
So if like when you compare a $55,000 coaching program for a year to what you would have to pay to attend an Ivy League school and learn business, please. It's not even a question.
But also like with a time thing too.
Right.
Typically it's 4 years, if not 8,
Right.
depending on the.
Just for you to make $40K with $300,000 in student loans to pay off. Crazy.
It's the American dream.
Yeah, it's American scheme.
Sorry to drop this on you or to put you on the spot, but you've bought in Myron's thing twice. Have you thought about, or what, if you already have, what's stopping you from maybe taking another one of his offers?
I mean, it's just I feel like I caught it.
Mm-hmm.
My business model is preventing me, if that matters, because I'm gonna do something a little different. So now I'm thinking about who's gonna help me with this new facet of my business, you know. But that's all. I mean, it's neither here nor there about that.
I guess what's happening in my mind is like, what's the difference between all three? The $1 million offer, the 300, and just the 55.
Oh, okay. Well, if that's the question, the answer to that question is the context.
Right.
The context in which you get Myron is what changes. So, and the cost creates the context. So the $1 million offer, you get 4 one-on-one days with him, and you're his $1 million client. Like that is a context that draws something different from him, because he's solving a more sophisticated problem than a $55,000 group context. You don't get one-on-one, right? And then the 375 group, as far as I know, it's 1 day or 2 half days, and that's it. I mean, I think for a year you still get access to everything. When you join his stuff, you get access to the stuff underneath it, which is cool. But I didn't even mention, like, he taught me how to create offers, but I guess he teaches everybody how to do that. I guess that wasn't so obvious.
What do you mean?
Just the offers thing.
No, I mean, that is a big,
yeah, but he has literally a challenge called Make More Offers. Like, you can learn offers from Myron.
Did you take that challenge or no? You just, he just taught that in the program. No,
he taught that at the live event.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and that's another thing, dude. Like, the dude's not okay, or the dude's okay with being repetitive. Like, which
is something that, I mean, that broke off of you.
100. It's like no one consumes anything ever.
I think you and the sales girls even mentioned it. Like, you guys thought you had to come up with a brand new webinar every single time you guys did one.
Sure. And you don't. But also I could take that webinar and then like do it in front of a group. And then I can also take that webinar and get on a podcast and just walk through that webinar.
But yeah, no, the offer creation piece that he's taught you. I mean,
yeah. And he taught me to have an arsenal. Like, if you want to be a thought leader, if you want to be the best, you should have an arsenal of frameworks, of formulas, of teachings, of principles. Like, you should have an arsenal, especially if you get the same question over and over. Like, you should be blowing people's minds. And he showed us here's how I blow people's minds. And he did, that's through the formula of creating trainings and stuff. But yeah.
Cool.
Sweet. Well, this podcast was brought to you by the Content to Cast Challenge. It's an incredible experience that we actually, at the time of filming this, we're in the middle of, and it's unreal. It's been so cool. One of my favorite things to do, if you ever want to get what it looks like a 5-day coaching experience with Omar, take the Content to Cash Challenge, especially if you're trying to increase your presence online. And other than that, I appreciate you. If you're listening up to this point, you are a real one, and I love you forever. and I'm telling you right now, DM me on Instagram and say, I listened until the very end.
Yeah.
You're real department fam.
Content to Cash, link in the description.
Peace out. God bless.